Yo, what is up, everybody? It is I, Alex McCarthy. It is the man SB3 to my right hand side, possibly my left. I don't know. Welcome. It is 2023 SB3. How are you, brother?
I am doing splendid. It is 2023. It is a new year, a new me. Nah, not really. I'm the same
Ah,
me, same star ratings, same same sarcastic attitude, and same person, only person on wrestling YouTube who calls out Triple H for bad booking decisions like babyface Charlotte Flair.
well, we're going to get there. Don't you worry about that. Plenty of time to get there. We're going to talk about Charlotte Flair. We're going to talk about Ronda Rousey's terrible promo that set that up. We're going to talk about Sasha Banks doing business in Japan right now. She is a free agent and she hasn't gone alone. Has been a development in the last couple of hours, so SB3 will talk you through that. We'll have some star ratings for the past week. We're going to talk to you guys about the new year and anything you want to talk about in the wrestling world. Let us know in the live chat. Make your presence known. We're back at 8 p.m. 9 p.m. just wasn't jiving. It just wasn't jiving. I was tired. I was really tired.
I wanted to say something like last time we filmed. You did seem like I was like, oh, the holidays getting to him. He been
Yeah.
Christmas shopping, been working. That's a lot.
Listen, so when we do 9 and finish at 10, I don't know if anyone's ever done you like kind of shows before, but it's really hard to unwind like immediately, right? And my bedtime is generally in the 10 to 11 range because I've got to be up at 5 a.m. right? And then so when I finish the show at 10, there's kind of the cool down period, and I don't always get to, and then the next day I'm like, fucking show. So yeah, 8 p.m. better for me. Thank you for joining us here. ITR Clips, a Monday Night Live is in the house. Man, you know what it is when it's January, SB3. WrestleMania season is around the corner. Things are about to start getting cooking in the world of WWE, and Charlotte Flair seems to be the one that's really kicked off that return. Let's start with that, man. Walk us through what happened on Friday night for those that didn't see it. Um, if you know anything about Charlotte Flair, you could probably guess what happened.
Yeah, I feel like this has happened way too many times. But SmackDown, they promoted Ronda Rousey defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel had been injured by Ronda and Shayna with the injured arm, but made it through the entire gauntlet last week to earn the opportunity here. And by the end of this matchup, I was literally like, man, Raquel has the best chemistry with Ronda of anyone on this SmackDown roster. Like, and it kind of reconfirmed what I've been saying is that all you really need to do with Ronda, it doesn't even need to be a great wrestler because I'm sorry, Raquel's good. She's not great. It just has to be someone that is believable to beat up Ronda Rousey. Literally, that's the difference between Ronda's matches with Liv Morgan and Shotzi and Ronda's matches with like Nia Jax and Raquel. They are not very good, but they're big and they're believable to beat up Ronda. And Shotzi and Liv were not. So that's I think the biggest difference and the biggest kind of point that I got out of that match. But Raquel and Ronda, they win about 15 minutes. Ronda gets the win with like a top Raquel was going for the Tiara bomb from the top rope. Ronda reversed it into the armbar. She landed on the arm and still had the armbar in. Raquel taps out. So it looks like Ronda and Shayna's going to cut a promo, and then the ding, ding hits, and then she's got a complete new remix track. I was like, oh, they came, new Charlotte, new her, new year. Okay. So she comes out and she says, she gets in Ronda's face. Ronda completely botches the promo where she's like, "Oh, let me guess, you're here to challenge me for SummerSlam. Oh, wait. SummerSlam is farther away. Royal Rumble would be first. So yeah, you're here to challenge me for Royal Rumble." And Charlotte says, "No, I'm not here to challenge you for Royal Rumble. I'm here to challenge you for tonight." And fighting champion heel Ronda Rousey, who just went through a 15-minute war with Raquel Rodriguez, says yes. And babyface Charlotte Flair just challenged a beaten, bruised champion to a matchup. So, of course, logic speaking, yeah, babyface Charlotte Flair beats Ronda Rousey in a matter of minutes with a kick to the head, a spear. She kicked Shayna off of the apron, and the crowd popped for her. So it looked good that night. WWE is all about perception a lot of times. So if they create this moment, they get to replay it, and they will. It doesn't matter what they do afterwards. A lot of times with WWE, but I'm just watching this whole thing, and I was just like, your solution to Ronda Rousey getting stale as champion was to give us baby face Charlotte. This is your hero, Triple H.
What's
This is
Charlotte
the
at, by the
hero
way?
Triple H came up with
Is Charlotte, what's she at now? Is it 14?
14 times. Ford did not earn the title shot. She literally beat a beaten up fighting champion heel. Like I was so confused. I was like, what am I even watching?
I've got a couple things about this one. First of all, the promo was bad. Like, even before she delivered the SummerSlam line, she was stumbling her way through that shit. It was all, I don't want to pile on. Like, I think a lot of people kind of, maybe not unfairly, but people
I think it's
pile.
unfairly. I think it's unfairly.
It goes a
Honestly,
bit too far, doesn't it?
honestly, when
It
the
goes.
report started in January that she was coming back for the Royal Rumble, you literally had fans that were in their mind wanted Ronda to fail. And yes, she has failed because she hasn't really cared, but have the fans just overwhelmed apathy. There's been a section of fans that just want Ronda to fail, and they just been adamant about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, that's probably more of a sweeping statement. I mean, I was more just talking the promos. Like, I feel sometimes on Twitter, like no matter what Ronda does on the mic, everyone's like, "Oh, she's the shit," and like, it's not her strong suit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but she has had some strong performances. I feel like in some segments before. This wasn't one of them at all. Didn't set the moment particularly well. Um, but as you said, Charlotte came through looking brand new. What's that? No, 7 months, 7, 8 months she's been gone. Like,
Since May, yeah.
yeah, it's one of them where she probably needed the break, but then you bring her back and you do the thing that you would assume is nuclear heat, really, from a booking perspective, because everybody was sick of seeing Charlotte Flair win the title, right? Like, everybody has moaned about her being in the picture. I'm a big Charlotte Flair defender in terms of in-ring, right? Always delivers, always has great matches. I'm a Charlotte fan. The worker, the character, like it got stale a while ago, didn't it? Like the whole just the queen, and she's kind of bullying people, and that stopped working for me a while ago. The the good pivot here was that they made this choice. Is like, for fans, it was kind of like, well, it's the lesser of two evils. You're not enjoying Ronda Rousey's title reign, so here, take this babyface Charlotte Flair, and you'll like it. And people went, yeah, at this point we will. Don't know how it's gonna, how long it will last, what the long-term plans are. I've seen lots of different stuff banded around. I think it was only this week they were talking about, was it Ronda and Rhea, right? That was like this week. And then as soon as this
Yeah.
happened on Friday, everyone's going, oh, maybe not then. Shock.
And now there's a new report I saw from it's not the biggest source. I've never seen them report anything, but it's Fight Fans. I think that was the name of the platform, but I've seen a couple of major platforms cover it, and they said that right now WWE is talking about doing Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship, and Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I literally saw that and I was like, he's gonna do that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
stupid.
that's
That's
it.
stupid. That's a
That's
stupid
why
plan. That's a stupid idea, but he's gonna do it because
that's why I
I
screwed my
saw what
poster.
happened on Friday.
What? How don't you do Bianca and Rhea?
I don't understand. I don't understand why these reports, fans, don't want this. And I don't understand why we're not hearing more reports about Triple H wanting to push this, because if there was ever a statement matchup to put on WrestleMania that says this is Triple H's era, it's Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley
And
for the
they would
Raw Women's Championship.
they would ball out against each other as well. They absolutely would. Like they've got obviously like history. They were the final two in the Royal Rumble not so long ago when Bianca Belair won it. Like there is some kind of synergy there with their paths, but of course they've gone very, juxtaposing positions now where Bianca Belair has risen to. It's so rare to become a genuine babyface. So rare, right? Where you are just kind of beloved for everything that you emit, and that's what Bianca Belair. That's kind of the space she's in. I always felt she was kind of miscast as a heel, to be honest. Even in NXT, never like she had the right attitude, but I don't know. It didn't connect with me as much as as soon as she became a babyface, it was like easy, easy. And if you ever met Bianca Belair, and I've had the pleasure several times to interview her and stuff, she is like the most super nice person ever. So once you see it on screen, and I said this kind of for Drew McIntyre once upon a time when he became babyface as well, and obviously I knew Drew prior to that anyway because of like the British scene and whatnot. But you think, there you go, it's a slice of them, right? Which is why it works. I think that I've seen a load of different reports, so I don't want to lend credence to too much to anything else, but I really don't see how you don't do Bianca and Rhea. Like, just from a character standpoint and the way their journeys are on Raw, they've seemed to have been kept apart a bit from a solo perspective, which generally means that they're circling each other for a bigger date, because otherwise they would have met by now. But I guess the kind of not overhanging thing, because that's unfair to their talents, but what are you going to do with the four horsewomen or the three of the four of them that you've got? Charlotte's just got back in town, right? You've got Becky, you've got Ronda Rousey. Women historically have what, two featured matches at WrestleMania? Really, the titles. If you're lucky, you'll get. We got the tag match this year, right? You generally don't get like a side story match. What are you going to do with Bayley? What are you going to do with Charlotte, Becky? There's a host of names there.
Bailey, we really acted Bailey. Dude, she's gonna be in the corner of Damage Control. Like I think it's either she's in the corner of Damage Control or they find a three woman team to verse Damage Control, and then the tag titles aren't on the card.
I was talking about, I should say, when Bayley comes back from injury, it could be like Triple H pop. People are going to be so happy to see it, and they were, by the way. But
dude,
man,
I went back and watched some of the stuff I did this year, and I went back and watched my reaction on our SummerSlam review on True Heat, and then here as well. And I was so into Bailey coming back and being in a group with Io Shirai and Dakota Kai. I was so excited for
on
that.
paper, that's so good.
And literally, it took him 2 months to ruin it. I think that Triple H is doing well, but like the mistakes and the missteps he's doing, it stands out more because he's doing so many things well.
Yeah.
That's the also thing.
It's not a complete slam dunk. Like, nobody should mistake it for that. Like, he's got his flaws. Don't get me wrong, I am enjoying his era much better than Vince McMahon's latter years, like much better. But there are some things that you can't ignore. I think the ball's been dropped horrendously on Bayley. Horrendously.
I want to say, outside of Rhea Ripley and Judgment Day and Bianca Belair as Raw Women's Championship, he's completely flopped on the women's division overall.
And he would have thought he did something this Friday, right? That's a big moment. Okay, I guess we should let him follow it up. Doesn't have a great history of following up with Charlotte Flair, but we should have a look at that and I guess judge from there. It seems everywhere is kind of dismissing the idea that Ronda and Becky are going to come back to each other. I never put too much stock into WrestlingNews.co, whoever they are, right? I couldn't actually tell you like a string of reports they've got right. But
This is kind of their first kind of big try at it as far as like a big report. They've been really keeping track of what the plans are for WrestleMania. So we're a couple months away from either
They
WrestlingNews.co,
might.
nobody ever listening to them again, or them becoming a reputable source if they get
Yeah.
a lot of these matches right for Mania.
They used to do a load of those, like Vince McMahon thinks this reports. Like that used to be their bag, and it never really worked out. But yeah, I think from what I read, and again, I'm not putting too much stock into this either way, but I think they said that Becky doesn't believe it's as big as it was a few years ago. I mean, oh my god, look at the running!
Say hi. Say hi.
Don't you run from me, child?
I love how she's trying to peek in, but not be on screen.
Yeah. She's like, we're playing by my rules, man. What are you doing?
You're okay.
Peekaboo.
It's not touch. It's not touchscreen. She's trying to touch the laptop, thinking that it's touchscreen. It's not. Okay.
I mean, this could clearly be anybody at Fightful, but it's definitely Jeremy because he is a terrible bloke. I would say
No. I don't even know if it's Jeremy. It might be Joel,
it
because
could be Joel. If it is
Jeremy doesn't
Joel,
usually say nice things about me either.
listen. If it is Joel, me and him have got real heat. I've praised the man's daddy loving chest. Right, I've given this man nothing but love, and he comes back at me like this. Nah, it's got to be Jeremy. It has to be. I think back on course. I still think that is a big matchup. I think it's one of those that if it got away and it never happened, it's going to be one of those that we go, oh, isn't it weird they've never done that, right? At the same time, no, it's not as hot as it was, right? Like after
Like that's why I kind of did listen to the report. I don't remember who it was. I think it was like a journalist or a reporter that says that Becky Lynch or people close to Becky Lynch don't feel it's as hot as it once was, and that they should have done it in 2019. And none of that is a lie. It's actually the truth. But I don't think either the journalist who reported that, the people close to Becky that told him that, or Becky Lynch, if she was a part of. Yes, you want to show them the gift? Okay, this is the gift I got her for
was it
Christmas.
Christmas
Yes,
special?
yes, it was a Spider-Man book. So I can't play it though. So all right, but
My daughters are big on dragons.
yeah, I always thought it was. I thought I would buy Spider-Man stuff for my son, not my daughter, but she's more into it than him.
Yeah, so I mean, my missus had a real meltdown that I bought them boy stuff for Christmas.
Really love what you got.
Look at
Pokemon ring, Mario.
Oh, she calling you out. I love it.
Did they like it?
I loved it. But
Yes.
black Adidas tracksuits.
It's a good tracksuit.
Black Adidas tracksuits. Mario themed bed covers.
They love Mario.
Pokemon thing that shoots out Pokemon toys. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Name me one girly thing out of that. They loved it, yeah. They've just had their bedroom done up with glittery pink walls, and you've got a Mario bedsheet.
Get your own show.
Like, look,
Who asked you?
you're going to trash talk me, I'm going to pipe up.
Who asked you?
I had a meltdown, yeah, because you did buy boy stuff.
Oh, they're not girls. Bah. Yes, they are.
You know, you fucking off.
Get off.
This is great. Mrs.
It's
McCarthy,
not the people
the
tuning for.
MVP of the episode. Mrs.
No,
McCarthy.
she's not. Don't tell her that. No, she isn't.
MVP, MVP,
No,
MVP, MVP. But going back to the Becky report, what I was trying to say is, I don't think the people who are reporting this or getting this out realize that this actually makes Becky Lynch look kind of bad to me, because it makes her sound petty. It makes her sound like, yeah, I didn't give you the matchup when I wanted it, so I don't want to do it anymore. That's how that comes off. If you,
Yeah.
I know, I'm not the biggest Becky Lynch fan, but like, kind of take yourself out of the situation. A lot of people, WWE, like Charlotte Flair, yes, she just came back and won a championship, but she was told to do that.
Yeah.
The only time Charlotte Flair ever didn't do what she was told to do was that title swap situation, and you remember that as much as I do. She got buried for that, and I don't think like the people with around Becky Lynch realize that no, she's not going to get buried because she's Becky Lynch, and the people just love her and will just completely bypass this. But in my eyes, it does not put her in the best light of just being like, it didn't happen when I wanted it to happen, so I'm not doing it. That's how, it can be interpreted.
I mean, Charlotte's got kind of two things. The whole fiasco of Nia Jax, right? Like, that's another one where it's a bit.
I forgot that one. Yes. That's why I was so annoyed with the argument of Sasha and Charlotte, because the anti-Sasha people were like, oh, well, of course Sasha's not going to get paid more. She walked out. She's an issue backstage. I was like, so we're acting like Charlotte didn't have issues backstage?
Hang on.
Like we're just gonna bypass that to just rag on Sasha. That's why she's not getting paid more. Okay, cool story, bro.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean the whole backstage thing with Becky as well. Obviously, I was reporting on that at the time, so I'll stay impartial. But it just didn't sound great, did it? The whole I dropped it, I was trying to hand it to you, and it was like, was you? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that really doesn't mean anything. The Becky Ronda match to me is still a decent matchup. There's still a marquee matchup that you can build, right? Like there's no reason you can't get that hot again. Is it ever going to be as hot as it was? I mean, you got to remember it's kind of pure circumstance that got it hot in the first place, right? The freak broken nose, and we couldn't get the matchup that we were meant to get at Survivor Series, and time ticks along. Becky's huge. You can only organically get to those places, really, right? Like you can't. Well, you can, but it's very difficult to manufacture that kind of intensity, energy around an angle. And I feel like Becky's at a stage now where she's shown over the past year, she kind of just wants to work with the other ladies, right? Like maybe she's done with these kind of, not fellow stars, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like these people she's worked with, these top tier people, and she's kind of ready to just do her thing with everyone else. You've got to say, since she came back, she's probably had a career year, right? Like, I know, take the shoulder out of the equation, the months that she was away, she's been amazing. So you can't really, I don't buy Becky being petty. And also, in all my dealings with her, I'm not going to pretend like we're pals and we were on the phone all the time. But having spoken to her a fair bit, she just doesn't strike me as the type.
No, that's why I said like the whole situation just seems weird of why anyone around Becky would even say that, because
But
that
we might be
like
overthinking it. There might not be a situation.
yeah. That's why I also brought up the journalist that first put that out there, because I don't know if it's the people around Becky or the journalists. I was putting more of the blame on them more than Becky, because we don't know what Becky has said, how Becky feels. All we could go by is that report. But to me, the two biggest matches you could give Becky one-on-one at WrestleMania this year is her versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title, or her versus Ronda for the SmackDown Women's title. I would love to see her versus Rhea, but that's not really as big as, especially after what happened last year with her and Charlotte. I think that would be the match I would go for. If Charlotte Flair is the SmackDown Women's Champion, I don't want any convoluted way to make Bianca lose the title over here, and then she doesn't go back for that title. She goes for the SmackDown. That sounds so confusing, so messy, and I just don't want to even see them try that. I'm so against that. I'm so against them splitting the main titles, because it's just going to add confusion and obstacles in front of Triple H when he could just go, this is where I'm at in January. I'm trying to get to point A of Royal Rumble, point B of Elimination Chamber, point C of WrestleMania, and I'm going to build up the WrestleMania card through that. You're just adding another obstacle of, now we have point A, point B, and point C, but I'm going to put point A, point 5 of, I need to split these main titles because a certain section of fans don't want Roman Reigns to have two titles. We got to have another title over here. Okay, cool story. Whether you want to realize it or not, Raw has proven in 2022 does not need a world champion. It did the same ratings that it did in 2022 that it did in 2021. It did better than 2020. Did almost as same as 2019. They don't need the world champion. Let Roman have both titles up until WrestleMania, and then let Triple H figure out how to split the title. Honestly, should have just done it with the Money in the Bank with Austin Theory. Could have saved us a lot of crying tears and upsettingness over how he used the Money in the Bank, when he could have just had him cash in at Clash at the Castle on one title, have Drew beat him for that one title, and then you don't have to have Theory as champion. You get a title onto Monday Night Raw. Roman gets to keep his title. You could have saved us so much drama, so much confusion into this WrestleMania season. But we are in the situation we are in. Don't try to muddy things up of getting Bianca to SmackDown or splitting these world titles. Just give us a great show. Give us a great Rumble. Give us a great Chamber. Give us a great WrestleMania. Don't add more obstacles to yourself.
Yeah, I would. In a perfect world, I would take Bianca Rhea. I think you could do a great story. I think you could do Becky and Ronda without a belt very easily, right? And it would be great if the women did just have a solo match that just was a story.
And they're the two biggest women that you would think that would be possible.
Exactly.
They would actually think of being like, yeah, we're not going to have Ronda or Becky in any of our title matches, so let's let them have their WrestleMania match without any titles.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. And then that leaves Charlotte Flair. You know, you could partner her with a myriad of different women. You know, they sometimes
just no one on SmackDown. I'm sorry.
Well, no, but I mean, they might. You want to do Bailey, or we don't know how it's going to shake out with Sasha and Naomi, which we're going to move on to in a second. There are options. It just, I don't know, but I think it's kind of cool. They're in a stage where all the reports are kind of in flux and nobody really knows what's going on, which is normally when wrestling's at its best.
Yeah,
because for months, I know we're at a stage now where people are saying, well, The Rock might not actually be there. But everyone was kind of doing the oh no, well, I was anyway. Hopefully he doesn't win the Rumble. And now everyone's going again, oh well, shit, if he's not going to be at Mania, who is going to win the Rumble? And the intrigue starts again. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. Let's keep things moving along here. Monday Night Live. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Monday Night Live, ITR Clips. We are your hookup every Monday, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. In Japan this week, SP3. Sasha Banks has landed, but she is not alone. Fill the people in on the latest developments.
I believe it was PW Insider earlier today confirmed exclusively. It confirmed that Naomi Trinity Fatu has arrived in Japan with Mercedes Moné, Mercedes Renato, Sasha Banks, and she will be at Wrestle Kingdom 17. They have not indicated whether from Sasha or New Japan if she will actually appear on camera or if she is just there in support of Mercedes, but it's very interesting. We have another key free agent that is in Japan.
Surely they're there as a tandem. Surely. Can't imagine Naomi just gets flown out, just to. It's very interesting. What do you think is going to happen at Wrestle Kingdom?
I think Kairi defeats Tam Nakano. I think it's going to be a great match, and I've been on this mission, and I'm going to keep being on this mission until Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. for Alex. Tam Nakano deserves more respect, and she's not getting enough respect going into this. She's one of the most beloved members of the Stardom, roster. She's one of their top baby faces, former Wonder of Stardom champion. She actually defeated the current world champion, World of Stardom champion, Julia, last year at Stardom's first pay-per-view in the main event in a hair versus hair match to win the Wonder of Stardom championship. This year, she won the Goddess of Stardom championship, which is their tag team titles after a spectacular feud with Natsupoi. They became tag team partners and won those titles just recently, losing it at the Dream Kingdom event. And Tam Nakano was in the first match back for Kairi in a tag team match when she teamed up with Mayu Iwatani against Tam Nakano. Tam Nagano has kind of been feuding with Kyrie ever since her return to Stardom. So this is a matchup that has been building for a few months now. And I think Tam Nagano is going to impress a lot of people. But yeah, Kyrie's going to win. And then after that, I think Mercedes comes out, cuts a promo, and challenges Kyrie. I believe that match will go down on April 23rd, 2023, because Stardom at their Dream Queendom show on December 29th announced that they're going to be running Yokohama Arena, which is one of the biggest arenas in Japan for the first time ever. It's considered one of Stardom's biggest events yet. And everyone immediately, when it was announced on that show, I checked social media, everybody was like, that's the show Mercedes going to be on. So I think that's where they're going to either do the IWGP match. I think maybe we'll see Mercedes in San Jose for New Japan when they come to the US in California. But I think the big IWGP women's title match is going to probably be at that Stardom show in Yokohama in April.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second here. If you've got Sasha Banks over to Japan for the first time, and I love Kairi Sane, is it not a slight waste to have her go? You know, wouldn't you rather Julia like a first timer?
No, Kyrie's the bigger name. Julia is one of the best wrestlers. We've seen it, but we've seen it in WWE, folks. I'm sorry, it's gonna be better here. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just and mind you, Alex, that wasn't even just WWE. That was pandemic WWE that we saw Kyrie and Sasha. So fans have never seen Kyrie and Sasha in person. So if you're going to sell out Yokohama Arena, which is like 20,000, and Stardom has gone from the number 6 promotion in Japan to number 2, they're the only promotion in coming out of the pandemic that is really successful in Japan, and they want to make that statement type of big sellout in Yokohama Arena. Kyrie versus Sasha will do that. Kyrie versus Mercedes will do that if you put that in the high profile position. And then you could do Julia versus Shuri. Julia's got like 3 or 4 rivalries after winning the World of Stardom championship that you could still have another co-main event alongside Mercedes and Kyrie.
Where's Yuka Sakazaki these days?
Well, that's Tokyo Joshi Pro. I've been
Damn it.
Yeah, she's over there. She's the champ. She just won the title back for Tokyo Joshi Pro, the Princess of Princess Championship. So she's still rocking and rolling over there. So she's still doing good over there. I've been really getting into Stardom. That's why I've kind of like made my mission to big up Tam Nakano, because I've been seeing a lot of her work. And I said I will say this here: if you want a steel cage match for WWE to kind of copy from another promotion, because WWE steel cage matches are not dangerous, they don't feel like anything, there's no blood, there's no anything, but you need that just physicality. You don't need blood to get over that physicality of a steel cage match. Go out of your way to watch Tam Nakano versus Natsupoi from Fight in the Top in July from Stardom. The best non-blood steel cage match I've seen in years. These two girls are like 5 foot tall, 100 pounds with bricks in their pocket, and they were beating the crap out of each other. They were just bashing each other into the cage and stuff. That's the type of stuff I need to see in WWE. People need to watch more Stardom.
Best cage match I ever saw in WWE, off the top of my head, is, I think you'll probably know what I'm going to say, is Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle in 2001. Mate, that is, I think it's maybe 10 minutes ish, but it is like a blistering pace. Like, and they are just fucking each other up. Like, and they do insane like things now that, obviously, knowing what we know, it's like, should you be doing a diving headbutt off the top of a cage? But still, at the time, I was like, oh my God, like, this is just maximum violence. Like, which is what a cage match to me should be. Like, you're just trying to, you know, I can't stand it where they're just kind of laboring around the ring and I'm gonna drag his head on the cage. You know, okay, I don't know. I need,
especially with WWE now, where you drag them on the cage, there's no blood. It's like, what did you do, really? Did you,
this is minor inconvenience.
Like with the match I'm talking about with Natsupoi and Tam Nakano, they're like really pale skin as well, so they were bashing each other into the cage, so you would see their faces like turning red and bruising. At least do that. At least bash their head enough to bruise. So if you're not gonna get blood, at least you can see some type of result of going into the cage. My favorite 2 cage matches WWE. Matt Hardy versus Edge, Unforgiven.
Yeah, that's good.
2005, I believe. Love that matchup. That had like the violence, the danger that I want from steel cage
Can I
matches.
guess the last one?
Go ahead.
Is it Brett and Owen?
Absolutely. I love that match. I was 6 years old. I remember being 6 years old in my cousin's house in Orlando, and he ordered the 1994 SummerSlam, and I was rooting for Owen. I wanted
Who
Owen to
wasn't?
be Brett.
Man, I was a big Owen guy. I want to see them. I want to see little brother get his due.
I love Brett, but I was just that match. I was just like, nah, Owen's got to win. Owen's got to win because he doesn't have to pin Brett. He just has to escape. And now the whole match is about escaping. Like it's so different from every other WWE match where they'll beat each other up and then eventually they'll start escaping and it just becomes just as trying to escape and stuff. With this one, they're trying to escape from like 5 minutes in, and that's the whole story of the matchup.
Yeah. Quick question. Is Sasha Saraya's partner?
My gut is telling me yes.
My body.
Well, my body's telling me no, and we were gonna get the announcement on Wednesday that it's either Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida, or Thunder Rosa.
Oh man, I think Thunder Rosa is more likely, right?
Yeah.
I think if you do anyone else, like if it's not a return or a debut, people are underwhelmed. I think.
Yeah, no matter what, like they have to announce who it is if it's not Mercedes on Wednesday, and I think it's gonna be, boom, it's gonna get the same reaction as Tony Khan saying that ROH TV is going to Honor Club. That's the type of reaction that's gonna get. It got to at least be Thunder Rosa, at least someone coming back.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa is probably the best option they've got. If it's not Mercedes, of course. Like, Jesus, that's a big deal if it is.
Now it could be Trinity.
Yeah, I mean, it would get a good pop in that. But, everyone wants Sasha. Let's be real. They do.
It'd be like when WWE brought back Hit Row without Serve. If it's just Trinity and no Sasha.
I still can't. I can't get on board with Hit Row.
You remember when we were making fun of that first week? Man, I didn't even think it would turn out this bad.
Oh, it's painful. It really is. I want Top Dollar goes out of his way to just not good. What are your New Year's resolutions, SP3? Have you got anything in mind you want to share with the people? Learned much 2022? Any highlights you want to share with us?
Well, this show is definitely one of the highlights because I get to talk with Alex every week. We have a good time. I get to spread my nonsense of why I have a better star rating system than Uncle Dave Meltzer. And I just wanted to tell y'all, ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Dave Meltzer had about 27, I think it was like in the 20s of 5-star matches. I had 15. So I'm not that far off, but I had a couple of matches that he didn't have as 5 stars. A couple of matches he had as 5 stars. I had 4.5, 4 3/4. Have the better star rating. So that inside this show is just so much fun, especially interacting with you, interacting with Kenny. I haven't being able to tell him that Kenny's one of the people that I really inspired to go and be when I was a content creator. What Culture and those the OG What Culture guys was the first YouTube channel that made me be oh, I could do this wrestling thing on YouTube and stuff. So that's been just great doing that. So for 2023, I want to see the show grow. I want to see us, expand more and do more for Inside the Ropes, as well as True Hill Heat continue that expansion as we head toward 4,000 subscribers over there. So just pushing and maintaining, and then just being a good father and the home stuff and being there for my missus. That's the most important thing. That's the first thing I thought of were resolutions or what I wanted out of the new year, and then everything else would work was secondary.
Yeah, man. My resolution is to make my kids more boyish than ever.
I'm following your lead. Harlem, you're getting Super Mario sheets. It's a wrap.
And knee pads, and you're going to run the ropes. No, Yeah, I think
She needs knee pads. She falls a lot, so that
yeah,
would
so
work.
my eldest, she's 6, man. She's clumsy. Yeah, I think so. First of all, I haven't done any like wrestling news since going to the Daily Mail, but I am dropping news this week,
Mm.
and it's good. You
Oh
won't have seen it
boy.
anywhere else. You won't have seen it anywhere else. So stay tuned for that. I think I'm going to drop it Wednesday. I am just finalising the last bit of it. But yes, SB3, I'll clue you in after. Don't worry, brother. But yeah, it's. I'm really excited to share it because I'm excited about the news. So that's always cool to be able to share it. And I've got Daily Mail to sign off on it. So hopefully, heading into WrestleMania, that's a good omen, and I'll get to do more stuff again because I've missed it, man. Like I needed to take this step forward in my career, right? Like I've gone from. I mean, I love Talksport. It was great, but just like the money between this and Daily Mail was like big, just different, right? It was just two different. And then I've moved into like an editor role. It's like management, man. I'm not just out there reporting anymore. I had to make the step, but it did kind of suck to have to sacrifice a lot of what I love to do every day, which was the wrestling stuff. So having this show has always been a way, an outlet for me to stay in the game. So it's good to see that in a position to drop some news this week and hopefully kickstart a bit of that, do some more interviews again. So yeah, I'm the same, man. I just want to be like best version of myself. That's such a shit saying, but it's true. Like I want to be in shape, and I want to come home from my stupid 5 a.m. starts and have energy to play with my kids, man. That's part of the game. But yeah, I am looking forward to sharing with you guys this week the news we've got in store, and hopefully, obviously, there'll be some stuff that accompany that on Inside the Ropes. So make sure you stay tuned to ITR Clips, this channel, and the main Inside the Ropes channel. I love it when you talk about Kenny too, because when I started in the game, brother, he was so like I admired him greatly, right? Like he didn't know me, but I obviously knew him just because I'd been to an Inside the Ropes show, right? Like, and he was the host, and I was like, oh man, like he's out there with Paul Heyman. I wish I could be out there with Paul Heyman, and wish I got to chat to Paul Heyman. And it's cool, obviously, I've got to do those things now, but at the time, like we were nothing, and then gradually through the years, we were like, we see each other at events, and I always remember him coming up to me. We went to the first ever NXT UK in Blackpool, right? The first takeover they had, where Walter turned up and debuted, and we were like there in the crowd, and he was telling me that he enjoyed my work, and I was like, man, this is cool. And now we're friends, right? Like it's weird. Like now we just message each other shite most of the time. But it's funny how it happens, man. Like, do you know what I mean in this game? And that's what I've always loved, and I want to impose to those of you watching. Like, there are really cool people in this wrestling universe of ours that we like to keep online. As frustrating as it is sometimes, there are really cool people, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I dig. And the other thing I wanted to see really in the 6 months or so that I haven't been doing wrestling reporting, no, I haven't really seen anyone in the UK kind of step up and do it, right? Like I was hoping maybe there would be, and this isn't just on the reporters, right? I'm hoping outlets would, give someone an opportunity as well. But we've got Louis who's still like doing his thing at Gimme Sport, and he's tried to do some new content with WrestleVotes, and then I think Alistair McGeorge is number one right now. He's still churning out. Yeah, he's still churning out a lot of interviews. From that perspective, he's number one.
I popped this Junior's cherry, ladies and gentlemen.
For real? Yeah, you did. You did. God, I had like a. I went to Juniors and did it all wrong, man. I had like a chicken. I had like
cheesecake.
I don't know. I didn't even have the cheesecake. I don't think. Yeah, I think Alison McGeorge from an interview perspective is probably number one in England right now. Steph Chase is still in the game, and I see her still doing AEW stuff. from time to time, and that's pretty much the scene at the moment. So hopefully, there's a void for me to fall back into. Anyway, man, we got
They
the last.
need you. They need you. You're the face of UK wrestling journalism. I bestowed that name upon
Yeah.
you. Need
Well,
you.
as much as I appreciate it, I guess I was saying all of that to say this. Like, I would like to see more in the UK, and
Yeah.
I want outlets to. Yeah, I'd hope that outlets would give more. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I haven't seen much from BT lately either. Yeah, just would like to see some bits and pieces. Really, I felt like we had a lot of momentum, and it just seems like it's stalled.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's they're waiting for NXT Europe to launch. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, yeah, like I said, we've got 10 minutes here, guys. In the live chat, man, if you have a question or a way that you would like to steer the conversation, please drop it in there now. We would love to take your questions. We will get into it. But before that, SB3 is going to deliver a star rating. What match have you picked this week, man?
It's Stardom. I had to go to Stardom
All right.
because I love this promotion. I love the storytelling, and their Dream Queendom show was one of the better shows that I saw this year. And I wanted to point out the main event matchup of Shuri defending the World of Stardom Championship against Julia. These two women have a lot of history with one another, so I want to talk about that one.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Where do you? What's Stardom? Has it got his own? Not what Stardom? Has it got his own network? Like, is that how you
Yes,
watch it?
www.stardom-world.com.
How much is that?
It's less than $8.
Oh, I'm interested. Very
Yeah,
interested.
it's
Keeps it like
really good value.
it's because I've seen a lot of Stardom retrospectively. A lot of great talent has come through there that a lot of us will be familiar with. Jamie Hayter for one.
Yeah, Tony Storm,
Yeah, exactly. A lot of those girls. So
Thunder Rosa, Asuka, Io Shirai, Kyrie.
I would quite like to be up on it, really. But yeah, anyway, please continue.
I would also say there's a really good YouTube channel. I always like to big up the YouTubers. The best two YouTube channels that I watch that kind of help me with like getting more accustomed with like certain characters and whatnot was Meekat Ultra. That's MEEKAT_Ultra, and
Hmm.
Aaron Watches Wrestling. Both of those channels do a really great job of like laying out the story of matches or the story of characters. And Karen Watches Wrestling is where I kind of learn more about Julia. Julia is half Italian, half Japanese, and basically there's a lot that goes into that. In Japan, she gets like discriminated a lot. If you're not 100% Japanese, there's kind of this weird kind of discrimination that they got. And Shuri, the former World of Stardom champion, is half Filipino, so that was their like connection outside of the ring. But basically with Julia's story, she was working in an Italian restaurant. She was managing an Italian restaurant in 2017. Always been a big fan of professional wrestling, and just decided to quit her job one day and go to train in wrestling. She goes to Ice Ribbon in 2017, starts training there, and then 2 years later in 2019, she's basically fed up. We've all been there when you're at a job and you got a nice little option over here on the right. And, most of us will give our 2 week notice. Julia just said, peace out. I'm going to Stardom. And literally her friends and stablemates in Ice Ribbon only knew about it because she put out a post on social media. It caused a lot of uproar. People from outside of Stardom hated her. People in Stardom hated her because of the stigma it gave Stardom in like stealing talent or poaching talent and whatnot. So she became one of their like top heels, and instead of joining a faction like is very accustomed in Japanese wrestling, she created her own, which is Donna Del Moto, which it means women of the world. And the first member that she brought to her group was none other than Shuri. Shuri was the first member of her group, but Shuri is a former MMA fighter, a former UFC fighter. Basically, People in Joshi fans call her the Brock Lesnar of Joshi wrestling. Like, she is the most legit wrestler when it comes to Joshi, and she kicks harder than 95% of wrestlers out there. It's brutal the way she kicks people. And Shuri basically has become the final boss of Stardom. She won their international title, the SWA World Championship. She won their trios championship, tag team titles with Julia, and then eventually she won the 5-star Grand Prix last year, and then beat Utami Hayashita, which was the woman she went to a draw with in a 5.5-star rated matchup, the only women's match ever that broke Dave Meltzer's scale last year. She beat her at the end of the year last year to win the World of Stardom Championship. In March of this year, she faced Julia for the championship in a great match, and Julia came up just short. So Julia basically went on a journey to get back to the championship. This year, she won the 5-star Grand Prix, and they set her up for the matchup we're going to discuss here with Shuri. So that's kind of
the history, the background
between the two women. So off the bat, build up 5 stars. Build up. That's like a 3-year story. That's like a 3-year story right there, and so many connected tissues, and how both of their rise through Stardom has been parallel while they've been teammates and stablemates. It's very interesting. The crowd, it's a clapping Japanese crowd, so I tend to not always go 5 stars with that, but they were loud, they were into every matchup, they reacted big to the near falls, big to the big moments, the big moves. So I would go 4.5 for the crowd, because clap crowd, I don't know if I can ever go 5 stars. That's why I'm thankful that Wrestle Kingdom, there will be some cheering and stuff, so we can look forward to that. But I went 4.5 with the crowd for that one.
All right, man. What about the finish?
Oh, the finish was beautiful, because they basically, the story, I could bring everything together with the in-ring work, the storytelling, and the finish, because the in-ring work was just spectacular. It's very much a woman's version of New Japan. You're going to get the high impact moves, the drops on the head, which 9 times out of 10 I'm watching the match and I'm cringing, because I'm just like, my neck hurts watching it. And the storytelling went into the in-ring work, because in the end, when Julia was trying to put her away and couldn't hit, she tried to hit her finisher, which is the Glorious Driver, that couldn't put her away. She started using the different finishers of their stablemates, the Donna Del Moto, which Shuri was basically a part of. They started using each other's moves, and they would kick out at one. That was great stuff. I love when another person uses another person's move, and they just be like, nah, that's disrespectful. That's the Kenny Omega Revolution 2020 spot when he kicked out of one at the Golden Trigger. I love that. I love that type of stuff. So the storytelling, the in-ring work, 5 stars, and then it led into the finish where she hits the Glorious Driver again, and once again gets a 2 count. And then she just described, I'm just gonna put all your body parts together. She grabs her head, she grabs her arm and ties her arm behind her back, and then drops her with a Northern Lights bomb right on her freaking head. It's one of the nastiest finishers I've seen this year. 5 stars for the finish. That was just brutal. You'll see plenty of people on social media talking about that. Northern Lights bomb was vicious.
So we end up at what, 4.75?
We'll say 4.75 only because the clapping crowd, but this is similar to the Briscoes versus FTR. I'm sorry. Sometimes when you get that 4.5 and you could just peak it up to a 5 star, this is a 5-star match. I'm not a coward like Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer gave it 4 3/4. I'm no coward. This is a 5-star matchup. I can't let the clapping crowd deny these two women of what they achieved. They achieved a perfect match. And then after the match, I don't speak Japanese, but they cut promos in Japanese, and all I can get across is the emotion. And you have Shuri crying, bald in tears. You got Julia crying. All I can understand is she said thank you and stuff, and they hug, and she puts the title around her waist, and they're just bawling out tears. I was just like, oh my God, this is a work of art. Like, this is just bringing the emotions and everything. That post-match sometimes can be the cherry on top. So if the crowd get you 4.5, and then you got a post-match like that, that's the cherry on top, and the crowd reacts big to that, it's a 5-star. This is 5-star match.
You heard it here, mate. The second 5-star match in the house. Just going to take a quick question from Queen Monet here before we wrap up. She says, now that Charlotte is back in the champ, do you think it's almost a slam dunk that Rhea wins the Rumble? I think Rhea should win the Rumble. I don't know if it puts her on the collision course with Charlotte if she does, but if there's anybody that's due to get a win over Charlotte, and convincingly, it is Rhea. But the only way you do that is if you put them together, you have to have Rhea go over strong. Like, you have to. Otherwise, it's pointless. And I don't think WWE will do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sorry, I've been saying this for months. Rhea Ripley needs to win the Royal Rumble. It doesn't matter who they decide to have her first at WrestleMania. It hasn't been like even with Bianca winning in 2021, it seemed like she was gonna win, but there was still some doubt about that, especially with Rhea debuting coming into the Rumble. They could have went in that direction as well because of what they were gonna do at WrestleMania, but it hasn't felt like this person has like this much momentum going into a women's Royal Rumble since Becky in 2019. Like, they need to pull the trigger on Rhea winning the Rumble this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a no-brainer. But time will tell, because I've been in that spot before, and you never know what's going to happen. Guys, thank you very much for joining us here on Monday Night Live. Remember to give us a like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff before you depart our channel. We'll be back next week, 8 p.m. here on Monday night. We're on the home straight, man. Royal Rumble's only a few weeks away. Remember, I'm going to be dropping some news this week, which I will clue you into on Wednesday. Stay tuned to my Twitter account. I will be dropping it Daily Mail's first big wrestling exclusive, and it's a good one. SP3, where can the people find you this week?
You can find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHeelSP3. Earlier today, I did a preview of NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 17 with the homie J News over on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. So subscribe over there, check it out. If you want more information before Wednesday shows, we go in depth about each of the performers, each of the stories going into the matchup. So the best way to preview that show is over on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. So check me out over there.
Make sure you do it. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us, kicking off your wrestling week right here on Inside the Ropes. We will see you next week right here on Monday Night Live.